Live on DSTV channel 279, also streaming across the world on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. Good afternoon. You're welcome to Weekend Central here on TV3. My name is Godwin Asidiba.
And I am Judith Brown. Coming up this afternoon, newly elected Commonwealth Secretary General Shirley Ayoko Botre emphasizes importance of collaboration in building a Commonwealth that works for all its citizens.
Also coming up this afternoon, former Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu says leadership in Parliament will have to engage Speaker Alban Babing to resolve the current controversy.
We also have details of more this afternoon as Electoral Commission announces change regarding the printing of ballots for the upcoming elections in the OT and Western regions. We have details of these and many more coming to you shortly. Do stay with us.
Glad you've made some time to join us here on TV3. A former Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Okoye, is calling for stronger collaboration among African parliaments to tackle the continent's pressing challenges. Professor Okoye shared these insights at the Second General Assembly of the Conference of Speakers and Presidents of African Legislature in Accra.
If we cooperate strongly as you are doing now, and even better still, we are more than able to face the challenges that our continent faces. Some time ago, our important issue was how best we could decolonize the continent of Africa. Then the period came when we decided upon democratization of Africa. I believe the time has come when we must realign towards development again. That is that which made us even start this group that you are now heading. And I believe that you are able to carry it to the second, the third, and the fourth stage for the benefit of Africa as a whole. I congratulate you all for continuing it.
My colleague Noble Crosby Annan is at the event and he is joining us this afternoon with more details on the back of this. Crosby, Speaker of Parliament Alban Babing addressed the gathering. Can you take us through some of the highlights?
Right, so Godwin, thanks for having me. I'll first talk to you about what this conference is about. So it is a platform that was established in 2020 to facilitate increased deliberation, cooperation between speakers and presidents of parliament and the national assemblies across Africa to address common challenges, as well as devise strategies and mobilize collective action to advance the continent's development. You know that the first General Assembly was held in May 2023 in Nigeria under the leadership of the then Speaker of the House of Representatives of Nigeria. Now, at that stage, the foundation was laid for the convergence of the heads of African legislatures on critical issues relating to post-COVID-19 and democratic development, essentially. Now, the statement said this conference is bringing together, and I can say that it has brought together 120 participants, including speakers and presidents of national legislatures, the deputy speakers and presidents as well, clerks and secretary generals and supporting staff of various parliaments. They have all gathered here in Accra for this conference. Among the things that have been spoken about so far is the need for effective collaboration of African parliaments to ensure that the continent develops. As I speak with you, the Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Alban Babing, is speaking right now, addressing the gathering there. And among the things he has mentioned so far, he's talking about the need for the executive to see the legislative arm of government as not being subservient to the executive. He's bemoaning the processes, for instance, that the Speaker of Parliament will have to go through if he has to attend a conference outside Ghana, a conference of parliamentarians or speakers of parliament. Such conference, the Speaker will have to process his documents through the Foreign Affairs Ministry or the External Affairs Agencies, which is under the executive. And that is, if you like, trying to say that the legislative arm of government is under the executive arm of government. He's saying that when these presidents are outside of the country and they're signing agreements, oftentimes they do that without, recourse to Parliament, if you like. However, these decisions that these presidents are making are decisions that will have direct consequences on the country, and the country based on representatives are in Parliament. Hence, this decision should be made by Parliament. He's talking about IMF deals, for instance. When these deals or other external programs are reached, agreements are reached, oftentimes the legislative arm of government is not really involved. So when they come back with these agreements, the legislative arm, they are compelled to, if you like, support them, whether or not they accept or do not accept. So he's trying to ask for some ways to fine-tune these processes so that the legislative arm of government can be seen and respected for the arm of government that he is.
Right, Crosby, you made mention of the fact that some personalities have been speaking. Briefly, take us through some of the key people who have been speaking and exactly what they have been saying.
Right, so Godwin Jogate, who is the Member of Parliament for Chicago, has spoken already. He is the chair of this conference, so he brought together the chair of the planning committee of this conference. So he has already spoken. We've had addresses from other speakers of various parliaments, other leaders of various parliaments outside Ghana, representative or the president of the Speaker of Parliament in Togo, for instance, as well as other speakers of various parliaments. They have spoken about the need for collaborating to ensure that the continent develops as is respected of the continent. Like I mentioned, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagin, is speaking right now. Professor Michael Quay has also spoken, and that's the voice that we played for viewers out there. He's talking about the need for African parliaments to collaborate and then the time is now for African parliaments to shift their attention towards developing the continent, Godwin.
Right, Noble Crosby Annan, thank you so much for your time. He has been speaking from the Second General Assembly of the Conference of Speakers and Presidents of African Legislatures, which is happening here in Accra.
Let's do one of our headline stories. And Minister of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayoko-Botry, has been elected the new Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Now, she becomes the first Ghanaian and African to hold this particular office. Now, the election took place at the 27th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Apia, in the capital city of the Pacific Island nation of Samoa. Shirley Ayoko-Botry will take over from outgoing Commonwealth Secretary General Patricia Scotland. Ghana's foreign minister emerged as the preferred candidate after competing with Senator Joshua Setipa of Lesotho and Dr. Mamadou Tangara of the Gambia. Shirley Ayoko-Botry's nomination was strongly backed by President Akufo-Addo and former President John Dramani Mahama, reflecting a Commonwealth consensus for an African leader to take on the role. In her bid, she expressed a vision of harnessing the collective power of the Commonwealth's 2.68 billion citizens for shared growth and resilience. Shirley Ayoko-Botry, in her acceptance, acknowledged the Commonwealth's untapped potential and her commitment to the organization's future. She wrote on X, formerly Twitter, and I quote, "I'm honored and humbled by the trust of Commonwealth leaders. A lot of work lies ahead, but together we shall work for the new Commonwealth that works for all its citizens," she said in a separate post. I will stay on this issue, and in a related development, President Akufo-Addo has expressed his pride and joy over the election of Shirley Ayoko-Botry on her historic election as the 7th Secretary General of the Commonwealth. President Akufo-Addo emphasized that her vision of inclusivity and progress will inspire the Commonwealth family and guide it towards a future marked by hope and unity. The president extended his gratitude to fellow heads of states and and governments of the resounding vote of confidence in Ghana's candidate, highlighting the collective support that bolstered Botche's election. As she embarks on this new chapter, President Akufo-Addo reaffirmed his belief that her leadership will bring about positive change within the Commonwealth, fostering collaboration and unity among member nations. Let's do some more stories right here on your Election Command Center.
Welcome to your Election Command Center. The presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has renewed his commitment to improving agriculture he voted into power. Addressing chiefs, clergy and Muslim people in the Karachi East constituency in the OT region, Dr. Bawumia stated that improved agriculture will provide job opportunities for the youth and reduce the importation of food produce. It's time for us to have a conversation on the back of this, and Daniel Opoku, a senior journalist here at Media General, has been with Bawumia on his campaign tour, and he joins us for details on the back of this. Danny, thank you so much for your time. Where is the team now, and what can you report?
Right, so good afternoon to you, Crosby. Currently the Vice President and NDC flag bearer as well. It is in the OT region where he's currently within the Karachi East district, where this morning he tried to engage with the stakeholders. We want to talk about the stakeholders, talk about the Muslim clerics, we also talk about the clergy, we also talk about traditional leaders. That consistently has been the direction of the Vice President. He meets the stakeholders before he comes out to meet the party faithful. So when he met the stakeholders, he pledged to support, one, to help them do that aspect within a few weeks, and most importantly, the chiefs raised concern about the lack of, or the collapse of the bridge on the OT, where they asked government to reconstruct the bridge. And the Vice President assured them that some 2 billion Korean facility has already been earmarked to be able to facilitate that particular process. That's how the Vice President has been telling them. And most importantly, it's about agriculture, where he's going to set up the mechanized center for every district within the country, so they could go and access loans. They also go there to access farming implements to be able to do proper farming. Basically, that's what the Vice President has been saying. And we really have the confirmation of the chiefs that the chiefs have pledged a commitment that ahead of these U.S. elections, they are going to vote massively for him, because he will come back after 4 years to give an account. And in case he comes back, he's not able to accomplish most of the things that he has said, they are not obviously that will affect him. But the chiefs have said that they are going to vote for him, also convince everybody within the country to vote for the Vice President. When he comes back after 4 years, he'll be able to give an account.
We know that the OT region is well noted when it comes to agriculture, and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has made a promise to hammer more on that when he becomes the president. How are the people in the OT region reacting to those comments?
Right, because actually they were extremely elated and happy with what the Vice President said with regards to the agriculture, the setting up of the various agricultural centers within every district. Really want to look at the faces and the demeanor of the chiefs and their posturing, realize that they have really accepted what the Vice President has said, because they have a lot of lands within this arable lands within this area. And also when you are able to set up the mechanized agricultural system, there will be a portion for irrigation. Also, there will also be a portion for giving the farmers some kind of soft loans, and also a portion for them to access some implements to be able to do that. They really accepted the message of the Vice President, and they are really going to say they are going to vote for him and going to win upcoming election.
Right. Daniel Opoku is with the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Let's head to the camp of the NDC, and the running mate for the National Democratic Congress, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has urged the people of Boko in the Upper East region to work together to restore peace. Speaking during a courtesy call on the Boko Naba, she reiterated the role of peace in development.
We all know what has happened very recently, as dawn or so. And my message is for all of us. These are very, very difficult times. They are trying times. Our nerves will be grated. It will be our last nerve and all of that. But I would humbly wish that we look beyond this and look at the future and try to cooperate to build unity even among ourselves and be able to look forward to a more peaceful future. The issue of peace is very important for all of us, no matter what, because we want our society, we want our people, we want the children who are following us all to come into a more peaceful environment for development to take place. And as I always say, the price of peace is not cheap. But I believe that we all know why we need to collaborate with everybody involved, law enforcement agencies also, to ensure that we can live in peace.
Voters have been presented with the opportunity to make informed decisions on policies of political parties going into the December polls. With the creation of the Voters Compass, the internet-based platform presents an avenue where electorates can pursue the initiatives of parties while answering questions on what best suit them.
Voters Compass platform, a web-based platform, is designed to provide Ghanaian voters with essential knowledge to engage effectively in the upcoming election. It will help voters compare and access the various party manifestos and show a more informed electorate and promote transparency in the electoral process. German Ambassador to Ghana, Sven Jansing, said the project aims at shifting the focus of campaigns from personalities to policies.
We see in a lot of countries in the world that people would maybe base the vote on, well, do I like the face of the candidate on the poster? Do the colors of the party logo really appeal to me? Where is the guy from, or the lady? Is that my region? Is that my tribe? Is that my religion? What has he done in the past? Did I like their policy or not? But maybe a little bit less what this candidate really intends to do. For this, I can definitely only recommend to use the Voters Compass. It is a little bit over 20 questions. It takes less than 10 minutes of your time.
Some political parties who lauded the initiative encouraged the electorates to be circumspect in choosing the candidate. 60 cities a day for 30 days, that's 1,800 cities. Most people don't get paid 1,000. How are you going to make a living?
Education service alone, within a space of 2 years, was able to employ over 100,000 people, right, only under this government. So the issue of employment, indeed, for us as a young people, there's a need for us to do more. It doesn't matter whether it's MPP or NDC.
Over the past 32 years, 16 years apiece, we've not seen the transformation that Ghanaians desire. We've had some interventionist solutions, but it's not yielded transformation for the Ghanaian people.
The online-based platform is powered by Pumsless Bytes in collaboration with German civic tech organization Vote Swiper.
We stay on elections, and the Electoral Commission has announced a significant change regarding the printing of ballots for the upcoming elections in the OT and Western regions. In a letter addressed to the relevant stakeholders, Deputy Chairman Samuel Tete informed that Yasako Printing Press Limited, originally contracted for this task, will no longer be printing the presidential and parliamentary ballots for these regions. Instead, Buck Press Limited has been assigned to print the ballots for the OT region, while Acts Commercials Limited will handle the printing for the Western North region. The Electoral Commission emphasized the importance of this update and urged stakeholders to take note and act accordingly. This change comes as part of the Commission's ongoing efforts to ensure a smooth electoral process as the nation approaches the election date. The Electoral Commission noted that it remains committed to transparency and efficiency in the electoral operations. Well, Mahdi Jibril is a Deputy Director of Elections in the NDC. He joins us with more on this. The NDC has raised concerns. Are you pleased with this move by the Electoral Commission, sir?
Let me say good afternoon to your viewers. For us at NDC, we were worried about this development because we believe that the Electoral Commission could have done a very good work with a good due diligence to be able to identify and know the capacity of the printers. Not at the last minute when even developing the place becomes difficult for a printer. Yes, Yasako has been printing ballot papers, but the Electoral Commission should have known that time has changed, and they should have done better for you to know that the Yasako couldn't have the capacity to print ballot papers. Now, this started from day one on Saturday. Our agents started detecting the problem. Day two, but I was surprised the Electoral Commission kept on up to almost a week before even coming up to say that, okay, now they are taking the contract from them. Now they have given to Box Press and As Commercial. We believe that even the beginning when As Commercial and Box Press were giving the printing, they were also looking at time. Now that you are adding load to them, what will happen? We want to believe that Box Press and As Commercial will do the good work. Our agents also will be there to check. But I believe that if the pressure is on a company to do some work, he might have done something wrong. But I think that all these things happened because the Electoral Commission didn't do their work right.
Right. Would you say that this change is rather too late? And were you briefed with the reasons as to why this change has been made? Are you satisfied as well?
Okay, we'll say that you're satisfied that yes, you have gotten, we are lucky that it has come earlier, that they stopped them, hoping that Box Press will do. But we know that Box Press has another printing to do. That's a statement of food. Now the question is, can Box Press combine all this one to do at the same time? Because in 2023, we had this similar challenge where ballot paper delayed to go to centers. And I believe and pray that it will not happen this time around.
Now, what's the latest on the overall process of ballot papers printing currently?
It's a process of ballot printing. You know, the process actually, we have our agents at the printing house. The place to be designed for the Electoral Commission to approve. We have approved the logos already. Then the process is that the agents will be there. They are printing for 24 hours. For the printing, all the printing houses are doing 24-hour printing, non-stop. And our agents are there from printing. We do the counting, we do the batching, we do the serial numbering based on the statistics that they've been given. So far, we will say so good. Where we have a challenge and risk in some of the printing houses, printing was halted. Some ballot papers have been shredded because the NDC raised issues and were legitimate. There were areas that even printing of the two logos of NDC have been used, where we raised issues and they find it reason to even shred those ballot papers. But I would say so far, so good. But the worry is that the Electoral Commission could have been done better to know that SACO could have been part of this exercise.
Ryan, many thanks for your time. That was Mahdi Jibril. He is a Deputy Director of Elections for the National Democratic Congress. But we have more stories, Godwin.
The president of the Eastern Regional House of Chiefs has urged the Electoral Commission to proactively engage stakeholders to foster peace ahead of the December 7 polls. Nene Sakite, who is also the paramount chief of the Manya Krobo traditional area, was addressing the Nyamenyem Festival Derba in Odumase in the Eastern region.
This year's election poses significant challenges as the various political parties are using various tactics that could spark violence. I'm therefore calling on the Electoral Commission to take proactive measures, including stakeholder engagement with international NGOs, civil societies, groups, and security services to ensure a peaceful elections and transparency before, during, and after this coming elections.
Now, away from elections, the Senior Staff Association of the Volta River Authority, VRA, have welcomed the Ministry of Energy's request for Parliament to suspend the controversial Ghana Hydro Authority bill. This request by the Energy Minister comes amid significant pushback from critical stakeholders, especially senior staff members of the VRA, who have voiced strong objections to the proposed challenges or changes. Now, other legislative proposals currently under the review include Ghana Thermal Authority Bill 2024, Ghana Hydro Authority Bill 2024, Ghana Power Distribution Authority Bill 2024, Ghana Energy Regulatory Authority Bill 2024 as well. Now, the proposed legislation sought to restructure Ghana's energy sector by merging the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, with the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, and creating an independent thermal power authority from the thermal assets of the VRA. Theophilus Tete here is the chairman of the Senior Staff Association. He joins us with more on this. Good afternoon, sir. Now, the ministry says it wants to engage in further consultation. What should be the areas for conversations and discussions?
Okay, thank you, and good afternoon to your Irish listeners. Well, as we indicated in our petition to the President and other major relevant officers of this state, of our total rejection and the withdrawal of the bill, the Presidency responded to our letter, and we had a meeting with the Minister of State in charge of Energy Ministry, Honorable Herbert Krapper, on the 3rd of this month, and we ultimately reached an partial agreement that he will withdraw the bill because he indicated to us that the bill that got to Parliament was administrative error, and therefore they were going to withdraw the bill. And we told him, yes, when that is done, we shall also withdraw all our actions since we are a very essential service provider in this country. So we had that meeting, and on the 17th, 2 weeks after the meeting, we saw a letter to Parliament asking Parliament to suspend discussions on the bill. Even though we have not received an official communication from the Ministry of Energy, we are saying that the letter, even though the Minister has done very well to meet some of the obligations that we agree or put on ourselves, it still falls short of our demand calling for a total withdrawal of the bill. Why are we calling for a total withdrawal of the bill at that? Currently, merging ECG and the NEDCO will be a suicidal mission, which means that we will totally collapse the distribution sector of this country, because currently ECG is unable to meet the payment obligations to all the generators in this country. As we speak, ECG is owing VRA over 2 billion Ghana cedis. That of the IPP is over $2 billion. So and we recently also cited a letter from the PURSD, which was seeking government support to help ECG, because ECG is near bankruptcy. So for you to say we are going to improve an efficiency of merging these two institutions is something that we find it difficult to believe, because that will never happen, because ECG itself is struggling. NEDCO is basically a lifeline customers, and if you go and merge these two institutions, what will happen is that we'll eventually collapse the distribution sector. What we are asking is that what we are asking is that we should allow them to remain and also bring in the competition that is existing, which will be to the benefit of the people of this country. Well, merging we and VRE, also we think that is not the best way to go. Because look, we is doing very well. We is currently, as I judge, one of the best, renewable energy service providers in this country. In the area of solar. So we should allow we also to expand its frontiers so that it becomes a very competitive business between we and that of VRE, right? So I think that this thing that we are doing and the objective abuse, we think that would not serve the purpose.
Mr. Theophilus, you have been explaining how this is going to affect the institutions, but how is it going to affect the customers, this measure?
Look, let me tell you, it's not only measure. I know people are only saying measure, but the main agenda of all these measures that you are seeing is to separate the Volta River Authority Emma Power Plant from Volta River Authority and outright sell private investors. Okay? And we are saying that the Volta River Authority is the only state institution in this country that provides the cheapest electricity for the people of this country. Look, if you get to know the Volta River Authority thermal asset, the price per kilowatt hour is the cheapest. Okay? And if you sell it to an IPP or an independent person, then what it means is that you are going to a contract which you are going to sign what they call take or pay. Take or pay means that whether you produce or not, so long as your plant is available, you pay it. Currently, VRA is running take and pay. It means that if VRA's plants are not available to produce power to the people of this country, nobody will pay them. And that cannot be said of the IPP. So when you do that and you move into that realm of take or pay, it's going to put additional burden on the customer.
Right.
So, and also the Volta River Authority is providing energy security for this country. That is key. Our national economic growth is dependent on the availability and affordability of electricity in this country. And every state is supposed to post its majority of the energy generation in this country. If we do that, if we sell the VRE over 1,400 megawatts thermal plant, I think what it means is that 75% of the energy needs of this country will be provided by the IPP.
Right,
and you heard the National Assembly. That's sad now because government or UCG is unable to make their payment obligations. And what is happening to our state today? It's that some people are going to suffer for it. And these are the things that we are telling the proponents who are pushing these things out there that, look, if you do that, we are going to collapse this energy. And we are also going to sacrifice the national security, our economic and energy security of this country.
We are grateful for your time. Theophilus Teta is Senior Staff Association Chairman of the VRA. You're still watching Weekend Central right here on TV3. We'll go for a short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
The 5 kg of rice has moved from 25 cedis to 165. Oh.
Hey! Boss, cement moved from 24 cedis to 105 cedis now. Hey!
The kenke is 5 cedis. The fish, I have 10, 15, and 20 cedis. Which one do you want?
Hey!
Stop the A.
Hey!
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Pa! Chesena me ankasa me period no say problems wom. Ntina ma wo ho idea ma me. Papa chesena nya asem ketewa. Na mkwan point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro. Mo meduro me fire no. Ene ma won kra mienu. Hofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba.
Head everything yourself.
Me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante. And then ko endpoint omama no nura and then ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's endpoint for you. Of Acrobato. Hello. Hey, ohwehwe what chair. Okay. A free bra wo di endpoint wa dance. Ah me call you no. Me Johnson sema na enkoyie en paso na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me no be fear for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. I'm free.
All be lie.
Thank you, boss. See you next week.
Yo, where is my passport?
Where is my passport?
Yo, man, I want to Waba.
And then
Give me my passport. You made me pay for express for 24 hours, and yet it's not in.
What's going on? Hello.
This man here has taken my money. That within 24 hours, he'll do my passport for me. Oh, see, that's
The same thing applies to me. He told me last night. He's telling me this week.
Process.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Oh, madam. Please relax. I'll get for you in 24 hours.
Hey, Goroma. So you never change? Eh? You get passport for someone within 24 hours, Madam Obwa. See, the normal working hours is 9 to 5. Eh? Not 24 hours, I'm fat. I'm fat. You guys have made a very big mistake by trusting these people. Now, through digitalization, passport application has been made so easy. Now, you don't need to stress yourself and join any long queue for your passport. All you have to do is to log on to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs website and begin your application.
Sir.
By buying a passport application voucher online. Simple and easy. And very soon, all you need to get your passport will be your Ghana card.
What is it true?
Yeah, Obisa. It is possible.
Esuro, vote #1 on the ballot.
This Sunday on Hot Issues,
we have emphasized the point that the right and the freedom of protest belongs to every Ghanaian.
Reflecting on the incident, do you think it was a reckless thing you did?
I think that it is reckless to deny citizens of their rights.
Oliver, what do you want? Why do you do what you do?
I don't understand why we as a society can watch our environment being pillaged to this level. The demand for dignity, we cannot be tired of that. When leaders promise something and they fail at it, they give us an indication that they are people whose words matter to them.
Hot Issues shows Sundays at 2 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Welcome back to the program. My name is Godwin Atsidiba. We continue with more stories. Former Majority Leader Oseiche Mensah Bonsu says leadership in Parliament will have to engage the Speaker Alban Babing to resolve the current controversy that led to the Speaker adjourning the House indefinitely. The Swami MP says even though he disagrees with the Speaker's ruling, which led to the 4 seats being declared vacant, consensus need to be built. He spoke to Evelyn Tingma in an interview.
The Speaker made a determination, and I disagree with him, the determination that he made. First of all, a petition is lodged with the Speaker with respect to where we are. And I think the petition came from the Honorable Haruna Idrisu, the former minority leader, who was praying the Speaker to give a proper interpretation to Article 97(1) FGH to determine whether there should be a vacancy in Parliament in respect of the 4 members of Parliament. The petition that came from Haruna, I understand, was lodged with the Speaker. Now, by our standing orders, if a petition is lodged, the member shepherding the petition will be given space to articulate or give vent to the petition, whether it's from his own quarters or maybe he's doing so on behalf of a group. He tells the Speaker or he gives it to the Speaker, and the Speaker, on account of that, will provide space to that member to articulate the content of the petition. Thereafter, the Speaker then refers the petition to the Petitions Committee to study and report to Parliament. After the report is submitted, then the House could discuss it, interrogate it, or debate it, ensuing from which, if it becomes necessary and the Speaker has to give a ruling, perhaps that could be done, or a directive that could be done. It's not being ventilated on the floor of the House. I must commend the Speaker for what he did in adjourning the House that day. At least we saw some pedestrianism creeping into Parliament. And so what he did cured the mischief of the House degenerating into something else. So on that score, and I also looked at his countenance, I agreed with the adjournment. I thought that the adjournment was going to be perhaps for the day, and then maybe invite the leadership to further discuss the way forward. But to adjourn sine die is what I have a problem with. But he's human. We all have our egos. Here we have a speaker who has made a determination, and then the Supreme Court tells him, stay your hand. We are injuncting the execution of the ruling. I mean, he's human. So maybe he reacts in a different manner, which is what he did. Beyond that, maybe we need to engage because elections should hold. And if elections should hold, every time that the presidential and general elections are going to hold, the Electoral Commission, for instance, will bring a CI to regulate the elections. If they have to bring a CI, what happens, and they've not brought it, what happens to the conduct of the elections? Would it mean that the elections cannot hold on December 7th? Or what is the EC going to do? Is it then possible for them to use the old CI to regulate the impending elections? We need a vote on account for the next succeeding financial year, the first quarter. That has not been done. We need to handle it. Sometimes they could happen after the conduct of the elections, but it depends on the outcome. If the outcome is not conclusive and there will have to be a second round, when is Parliament going to set to do that? Nothing can take the place of further engagement. That's jaw-jawing over this. What is happening has serious national security implications. Did you hear what happened, I think, yesterday or day before yesterday? Up north. Serious conflict. We need to cure it. Because they are drawing inspiration. They think that there's some void. That is why, all of a sudden, these things are springing up. Parliament should give them hope that our democracy is intact. I think we need to have Parliament recalled to deal with this. The majority leader has, caused signatures to be appended for a recall. If you want to be technical about that, he has 7 days within which to act. And then I think another 7 days by our new rules, which will take it to about 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so. What happens in the meantime? Does it mean that if those CIs come, they will not mature before the conduct of the elections? We should be thinking of the national interest. That's why I'm saying that it's important to further engage.
Also on this issue, an executive director for the Africa Center for Parliamentary Affairs, ACEPA, Dr. Rashid Draman, says there should be ways members of parliament can dialogue on disagreements rather than running to court all the time. Speaking on the key points, Dr. Draman noted that resorting to the courts by the MPs frustrates the parliamentary process.
A parliament is supposed to be a deliberative body. And the reason why we have the 275 people representing all of us is just simply to avoid a situation where, assuming all the 35 million or so Ghanaians, we all go and sit in a chamber and we want to deliberate.
Yes.
I mean, it's going to be very difficult to come to any agreement. So we say 275 people go and represent us, and at all times try and talk and come to some compromise and agree on how the direction, what direction of affairs our country should pursue. It does not suggest that it's going to be easy at all times. It doesn't at all. And that is why we have leaders. But what we are seeing now is that the least challenge, then people will run to the court. The least challenge, people would start invoking the rules. It's fine, but it simply means that tomorrow when somebody is also not pleased, they will just invoke the rule just to frustrate. You know, it's the same thing like, I mean, the filibuster system that exists in the United States, where somebody can just get up in the Senate and start talking and talking and talking just non-stop, just to frustrate the process. But they have mechanisms to stop that. In our system, I don't think we have some of those mechanisms, which suggests that, you know, when things become difficult, we expect our leaders to sit down and talk.
In recent times have been moving in droves to seek greener pastures. Has been happening. Board chairman of the Otumfuo Foundation, Professor Oheneba Boakye, has partly linked the problem to the country's educational system.
GIZ estimates over 40,000 Ghanaians are currently living and working in Germany. To the head of Ghana's European Center for Jobs and Development, GIZ, Andreas Burden, although the decision to leave the country is personal, adequate jobs to keep skilled labor is also a major issue. He told journalists on the sidelines of the Ghana Career and Migration Fair held in Kumasi.
It's in the most cases it's a personal decision. I mean, it's not. It's always up to the individual. But I think one very interesting thing about the Ghana case is that I have met many people here, including also like highly trained, skilled people who have studied and lived and worked for a specific time abroad, and then also came back to then work and support the society in Ghana.
Board chairman of the Otumfuo Foundation, Professor Oheneba Boakye, believes the country's educational system is partly to be blamed.
One of the most important steps we can take is to reform our education system to ensure that it meets the needs of the labor market. This means aligning curricula with the skills demanded by industries, particularly in sectors such as technology, agriculture, and construction.
Deputy Minister of Labor and Employment Relations, Festus Awia Kofi, says government is doing its best to keep the youth in the country.
To ensure that the youth or the private sector has access to resources in terms of capital, or relatively cheaper capital. Maybe I'll qualify it.
In other news, TV3's multimedia journalist Stanley Nibleu has been adjudged the fisheries reporter at the Maiden Responsible Fishing Awards by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Stanley is among 27 individuals who received recognition for his sterling storytelling and contribution to responsible fishing practices.
27 fisher folks and landing beach committees were awarded for their immense contribution. The awards was organized by USAID in partnership with the Ministry of Fisheries and Agriculture Development and the Fisheries Commission. The Voja community in the Volta region was adjudged the best landing beach. Edward Tete Amesimeku grabbed the most responsible fisher, with Joanna Kweko taking away the most responsible fishing processor of the year. The maiden award ceremony also recognized Media General's multimedia journalist Stanley Nibleu as the 2024 Best Fishery Report of the Year.
There are so many journalists that are deserving of this particular category or this award, but there's one journalist that has stood out. He's gone undercover. He's risked his life to bring out fisheries stories. And we would want to recognize this person under the Best Fisheries Reporter category. And it is in the person of Stanley Nibleu of Media General.
This particular sector is a very important one because it is part of the blue economy. And according to the World Bank, global economies have the potential to make between $3 to $6 trillion annually from the blue economy. However, when we take the fisheries sector alone, the use of illegal fishing methods for fishing tend to threaten the marine space. As a journalist, positioning yourself to tell stories of this nature to be recognized is just fulfilling.
Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, who represented the sector minister, emphasized the need for good fishery practices for industry sustenance. Director in charge of USAID Ghana Economic Growth Office is Andrew Reed.
In total, USAID has invested approximately $58 million in Ghana's fisheries over this last 15 years. Our goal has always been to promote high-quality fish for Ghanaians while supporting coastal communities to preserve marine populations for future generations.
Last year, USAID committed $140 million to support Ghana's economic growth in the areas of agriculture, health, education and governance. Another $24 million was channeled into the restoration of Ghana's coastal fisheries and improved ocean conservation.
Well, congratulations to Stanley Niblewu on winning this award. We'll go for a very second break. We'll be back with more stories. To stay.
Charlie, these MVP guys, then finish us.
Mo, why they lament like that?
Mauli, you know they Ghana. The MPP tell we say that they can't protect the public purse. The purse, then Tifa, I want to protect the purse. Corruption, left, right, front, center. I not see some before.
This matter you want to talk for here. It turn one day one corruption scandal. PDS, Ejapa, Skytrain, COVID, stolen excavators. God save then take Duam. See the National Cathedral. If we for collect all our monies from them.
Boys, boil up. You guys for cool down. See, we go recover all our stolen funds when John Mahama comes to power.
In this Ghana, how you go do it?
Operation Recover All Loot. Oral for short. John Mahama go investigate all cases of corruption, then prosecute all those found culpable, then retrieve all our stolen assets and funds. They take develop this country.
Shut up! Those way they run the public purse, where they steal one land, they destroy one water bodies on top. Where they walk about, they tell we say make we vote for them, no. We for jail them all. Or they come like a kite.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Welcome back to Weekend Central. I am Godwin Asidiba. The Noguchi Memorial Institute for Medical Research has commenced exploratory research into the newly identified species of malaria vector in Ghana called Anopheles stevensii. Speaking at the inaugural lecture as part of the Institute's 45th anniversary celebrations, a former director of epidemiology, Professor Kojoansa Koram, emphasized the need for a collective effort to combat the devastating impact of malaria in the country.
Anopheles, the malaria transmission vectors, probably have about 30 or 40 different species across the world and things. Stevensii is found mostly in the Asian countries. We have Anopheles gambiae, which is a very efficient vector. The difference is that gambiae, as was mentioned, lives mostly in the rural areas with clean breeding spaces and things, with sunlit areas. Stevensii is adapted to urban areas and may be able to breed in places where we think it's too dirty for Anopheles to breed, for example. So in our urban areas where we haven't cleaned properly and things, if we are not careful, it will colonize those places and will give us different problems. We know Stevensii breeds in urban areas from the work done in Asian countries and things. Is our urban space the same as the urban space in Thailand or something? We don't know. So that is why we don't even want it to get here before we start looking at all these things. So we can't go ahead of ourselves and say, do this or don't do this thing. Basically what we need to do is keep your surroundings clean, because when you do that, you will get rid of mosquitoes, you get rid of this, you get rid of this. As I said, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Well, stay informed with the latest news updates and exclusive videos by following us on Instagram at 3NewsDH. Get breaking stories, code cards, and behind-the-scenes content all in one place. Do stay tuned with us for more details and other programs right here on TV3. It was a pleasure coming to you. I've been doing this with Godwin Asidba. You can see on your screens 3news.dh on Instagram. Follow that page, of course, and get all the updates on there. Absolutely, Judith Brown. And if you're wondering how you can be able to do that, just pick up your phone, go on Instagram and type 3NewsGH. As easy as that, follow us and you'll get to be notified when we post everything regarding news. It's been a pleasure doing this with you, Judith. Definitely doing this with you as well, Godwin. Stay tuned, of course, for more programs right here on TV3. My name is Judith Brown. And I'm Godwin Asidba. We are back same time tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Bye-bye.